Hey everyone, this is Ben from T3 bringing you another match from the Vegas Top 8 that occurred on May 7th.
Sixth.
Fine, May 6th in Vegas. On the left we have Isaac playing HB, and on the right we have Timmy Wong, and special guest commentator with me, I have the Timmy Wong.
Hello again. Do I really? Do I really need the?
Don't double take here. This is the same exact game. This is a rematch from earlier in the top 8, and it was a really good match the first time. If you didn't catch that one, you should definitely do so again.
Yeah. So the first time Isaac and I played was in the first round of the top 8, and if you haven't watched that, go watch it now. But as it turns out, Isaac and I faced off yet again, and here in the losers finals. So Isaac has defeated everyone else in the losers bracket. I have just been defeated in the winners finals by none other than John D'Alessandri. So here I need to beat Isaac in order to get another rematch against John. So Isaac at this point knows that I'm playing Siphon Whizzard. So he wisely puts an upgrade on HQ right away. I won't be able to get away with anything sneaky early on this game.
He's not messing around with that one after the last time. You set him back quite a bit. And with the upgrade over HQ, again, after the last game, I feel like this is most likely a Cyberdex, maybe even a Chrysium Grid, just to make absolutely sure that you can't land the Siphon.
Yeah, he's threatening the Chrysium Grid at least.
Yeah.
That's what it would make sense to be. And he did manage to get that IQ res for 3 credits, like I mentioned in the last game. So that 3 credit IQ is going to be quite good for him because even at 3 strength, it's pretty annoying for fast. At 5 strength, it's really annoying unless I manage to get David.
And him resing, and by Isaac resing the IQ, you did get the NAPD off R&D, but that doesn't feel good. There's no way it can feel good.
Yeah, it sucks to take that NAPD so early. I thought about it and I figured I just had to. Like, my deck doesn't really have money anyway, so I might as well just be poor and get the 2 points.
Yeah, and especially after such a close game the first time you guys met, probably a wise choice there in protecting some type of points early.
With Global Food Initiative, HB decks just are so hard to score out against that you really need to take every agenda that you can get. Like, don't turn up that NAPD, even if it hurts. Just take it. All right, here I go. There's the David, not bad. He has 5 cards in hand, and I'm going to clear off that HQ upgrade.
Open the way for Siphon.
Indeed. I can't trash that because I used my wizard credits. Unfortunately, I think I have planned assault in hand and not an actual Siphon.
Yeah, it looks like planned assault there.
So I'm 1 credit short of landing the Siphon here because I only have 2 clicks left and I need 2 credits to play planned assault. So that's pretty unfortunate.
But you do have all sorts of really good answers in your hand. I see a Faust and a Knight, so there isn't anything that can really stop you anymore besides a Swordsman. I mean, that's probably the one thing you don't want to see at this point, but...
Sure. But it gives Isaac lots of time to prepare. Like here he puts down 2 cards that he could res in response to Siphon, which is sucky. Like if that's Adonis and CVS, for instance, he can just spend 7 credits and account Siphon doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really wanted to be able to land that last turn. It's possible that I should have waited a turn before making the David play. I was hoping that the HQ upgrade was just like CVS, I guess, and I could trash it for cheap.
But the remote here, I guess the read would be an Adonis campaign. You saw it, you couldn't trash it. It makes sense to be in the remote here. Mm-hmm. In either way, like you can let him res it for a turn. In fact, that would be ideal. Yep, and we do get the Adonis, but now you have to figure out how to get in. And you didn't show your hand, so you know both. I feel like the Knight or the Faust would be able to get in pretty easily and blow that up. So that'll be a nice extra little surprise here, especially if that's another hard ETR like last game with the wall static. over the Adonis that he tried to sneak out early, or not sneak out, but he tried to get money behind early. So I expect a similar play here.
Yeah.
And icing up HQ even further to help protect against the Siphon. He's definitely making up for the first game there. Now that the cat's out of the bag a little bit.
He did pretty well in the first game too, even maybe not knowing for sure that I was on account Siphon. He still defended quite well. It is the wall of static. Nice prediction.
But all of these ice that Isaac is playing are just ice that seem to be good against Faust, which is really strong nowadays. Protecting against Faust has to be a given. So building his deck around this and trying to land a Jeeves, even though he didn't see that at all last game, seems to have done pretty well. And you make that knight play like I mentioned there to blow up the Adonis.
Yeah, it hurts because it costs me 4 credits in my turn, but I can't let the Adonis campaign live. That's just so bad for my deck.
Yeah. Even opting to let the Jackson live an extra turn.
Yeah, Jackson isn't all that dangerous when the corp is poor. Like, they can draw cards, but they won't be able to afford to play most of those cards. So I can definitely wait a turn to destroy the Siphon. Destroy the Jackson. Yeah. Yeah, see, he just clicks for credits because he needs credits more than cards. And I can go trash the Jackson or at least force him to use it here. But I'm down to 2 credits again, which sucks because I don't actually have a count siphon. I need to have 2 credits in order to play Planned Assault to search for a count siphon and spin a click. It's really awkward. And Fast is still in my hand. I need to move Knight and pay 2 credits to break with Knight. So it's going to take me a little while to set up here. I think I'm thinking about what I need to do. I think I need to force him to pop the Jackson this turn and then just click for a bunch of credits. I need to get to the point where I can either use Knight or put down Fast and use that in order to get into HQ. And account siphon!
And you doing exactly what you said, forcing the Jackson. Unfortunately, that Chrysium grid goes back in, though.
Yeah.
Back on the table.
Hopefully he doesn't draw it too soon.
Hopefully you don't let all those architects fire.
At least he's rezzed way fewer architects this game. That's nice.
Architect, always bad to see from the runner side of the table.
Yeah.
But it looks like Isaac has, I think that's at least 2 agendas in his hand with a Biotic, right?
I think Isaac mulliganed this game. Yeah, so he probably started with 1 or 2 agendas and is kind of flooded. And he has drawn in Biotic, so he can Biotic one of those out at some point. But he'll be making himself poor with that play.
Yeah, I think he's afraid of you just moving over the Knight and really doing damage to HQ in that scenario, which is smart. I mean, HB needs to build. That's one of the things. If you can get HB down to low or no credits early game, it's such an uphill battle for them. And I think HB players know that too. At least even as long as Breaker Bay's a thing, right? But it doesn't matter if you can just get in because they don't have money to res the ice.
Yeah, all their ice costs at least 3 credits, often 4 or 5. So that's kind of the nice thing against HB. If you can get them, if you can get a window where they're poor, then they can't really do much to stop you for that turn. What they can do is make a lot of money very quickly again because of their identity and many money cards. Okay, so yeah, he's afraid of the Knight, as you said, and he decides to just get rid of his Wall of Static, which I'm mostly okay with because Wall of Static is fairly annoying for me. And I do have the Fast now, so I can break ice without the Knight. He's getting up to the point where I can account siphon him even through his ice res and upgrade res. So I'm thinking about whether I can pull that off this turn or whether I need to set up even more. The problem is I probably have some cards in my hand that are really important to keep and that I don't want to ditch to Fast, so I need to figure out whether I need to draw more cards to set this up or what else I need to do.
And drawing into the other knight is a good way to help, although it costs a lot of money to fuel knight. So it's kind of, that could be a card to discard though as well. The Data Sucker getting online is going to be super helpful. You showed that last game. Data Sucker plus Faust plus Fem equals break all the things.
So I decided that I wanted to get down the Data Sucker and get the Data Sucker token before making the Siphon play. So since he discarded a card, I figured I might as well check Archives to get that free counter. And it turns out he discarded an Agenda, which really signals that Isaac is flooded this game. There's no other reason why he would make that risk. So that's really interesting because now I actually want to get normal HQ accesses. Those are really likely to be profitable for me.
Yeah, that was an interesting move. I didn't expect the Agenda. That's a really risky play, I think. It gives you so much information about...
It is. I don't think Isaac was expecting me to check it so early. I think he figured that the other cards in his hand were really important for getting him to a good board state, and that if he just kept one face-down card in Archives, it was pretty unlikely I would go check that. But unfortunately, I had the Data Sucker, so I had another reason to go for Archives anyway.
There we go. So I think Isaac is also aware of the situation.
Now he knows that I know that he's flooded, so he needs to fix the situation ASAP. He also spent a bunch of his money, so now I can no longer siphon him safely. So this was a pretty good play by Isaac. And it means that maybe I was punished a bit for not making the siphon play last turn. But I got the free Agenda, so I can't really complain.
It's so interesting that in this deck, you're so focused on landing, you need the money from the siphon.
Absolutely, yeah. Otherwise, I'm just clicking for credits all game. I can't compete with a rich corp except by taking their money away. And he's just going to really ice up HQ. I mean, it serves a double purpose, protecting against siphon, but also protecting his agenda-rich hand right now. So it's kind of awkward for me because I need to siphon in order to get any money. But every time I siphon, I'm also kind of giving up an HQ access, which might get me an agenda.
So did you run into issues on the day? Were you usually successful in attacking HQ or?
Usually, most opponents didn't really expect it. These games against Isaac were some of the most awkward ones.
Okay.
But they kind of demonstrate what to do when the corp plays around your siphons, I guess. Basically, I click for credits a lot and wait and set up.
Yeah, and I just want to say for a minute, this tournament was so much fun. For me, there were some of the most fun games I had in a very long time playing Netrunner. Everyone at this tournament was very, very high level, I feel, and it was a really fun field. So no surprise at all that one of the top HB players is making it, is doing a very good job with defending against defending against your cards.
Yeah, it was a great tournament for sure. I loved that they had a live stream of everything that was going on, and the competition was top notch.
Isaac here, installing a bunch of things in new servers, really gonna put some decision making on you, and this is a really, really smart play on his side.
Yeah, this gives me lots of tough choices.
Especially because he did it right after you did making an entrance, so you made a plan, and then knowing that Isaac kind of countered you, and you're forced to make tough choices here.
He's forcing me to be active in dealing whatever it is that he put down, especially because I just played the employee strike to try to deny him some money, and now he's threatening that he put down an agenda that he can score next turn. So it makes me really want to check these cards and make sure that they're not agendas, because I want to keep that employee strike out for as long as I can. So I go ahead and check, and it's a Jackson, which he lets me trash, and that's really interesting because he's signaling that the other card he played is also a trashable card. That's why he wants me to spend my Whizzard credits now. Because if it's like an agenda and I go steal it, then he just let me trash his Jackson for free, basically, without getting value from it. But knowing that he signaled that, maybe he's trying to hide that he played an agenda down, and he actually wants to advance it and kill my employee strike next turn. So I'm thinking, how deep is the mind game going here? Like, do I need to check this card? I decide that, yeah, I should just check the card. And I think this is going to be an architect.
IQ. It's an IQ.
Oh, it's an IQ. Okay. I just had a premonition. Okay, it's an IQ, so I actually have a choice. I could bounce, but he still has 3 credits, so if it is an agenda, he could score it. It's a tough choice because I don't have my Whizzard credits right now. Normally with Whizzard, it's an easy choice. You want to check every card because you can trash anything for really cheap. Here, it's kind of turned into the hard choice that most runners have to face. So again, this was a really great play by Isaac, putting down 2 cards on the same turn to really pressure my Whizzard credits.
And your real credits at this point.
And my real credits, yeah, I have a sure gamble in hand, but I'm too poor to play it, and I decide to go in and check, and it's a Jeeves. Yeah, so that's too bad. Basically, Isaac managed to psych me out a bit. I probably should have stuck with the base level read that that card was just some kind of asset that I didn't need to deal with right away. But I wanted to be safe rather than sorry, right? Like, if he's only on 3 credits right now and I can keep this employee strike up, then I can make life pretty difficult for him.
Well, don't you have a... Oh, no, you just pitched the medium to get through the IQ. You pitched the medium in the planned assault. So, actually, to kind of counter that here, if you let him... if you assume, even if it is an agenda and he scores it out, your employee strike goes away. But on your turn, you can just medium and slam R&D. And there's nothing that he can really do about it. That's
quite true. I probably could have thought about that and gone with that play. My worry is that I'm so poor, I don't really want to play medium. It probably would have been fine if he went down to 0 credits because it takes him so long to recover. So I probably didn't need to check that card. But my thinking was that I was too poor to really go for a medium play because then if he does recover, it takes me way too long to do anything.
So planning for the long game instead of just trying to get a bunch of points on the following turn.
That was my thinking, yeah. Like, sometimes people get too focused on the medium. Here, he's already signaled that he's flooded in HQ, so I don't want to go too hard on R&D because the points are probably not in R&D. And if I spend too much time there, I'll give him the window he needs to bounce back and set something up. Get his money situation in a good place. Well,
it's already getting back there. That Jeeves is going to go a long way unless you can kill it soon. I mean, getting 4 credits a turn on the corpse side feels so good.
It does feel good. At least he has to spend 3 clicks to click for credits. It's not quite as good as a pad campaign. I'm thinking about whether I need to go kill that Jeeves right away, and I think I'm okay with letting it live for just a few turns. I'm okay with him spending a bunch of clicks to get money because my deck is pretty good at punishing that with the Gan Siphon. I'll go kill it when I'm in a more stable position also. Here, Isaac makes a small mistake. He tries to take 2 credits and then install 2 cards, which is obviously not something that Jeeves lets you do. So he just takes it back and doesn't install one of the cards.
1 credit equals a click. That works out fine.
Jeeves, not quite that broken.
But again, we see the money situation's starting to be a concern.
Indeed. But still, at least he has no res dice on R&D. This game, I did see an architect on top of R&D, I think. And I'm pretty sure he put it down on R&D right afterward. So I'm trying to avoid hitting that on R&D as long as possible. Hopefully I can keep him under 4 credits when I run R&D, or at least have a good answer to architect ready.
Checking that remote with an Ichi over it.
Yeah, he decides to res the Ichi to tax me. So I probably just click through Ichi because I don't want to pitch that many cards.
Yeah, it's a lot of cards. That hurts Faust.
Yeah, I'll just click through, take the trace, see whatever it is he put down. It's Adonis, kill it.
But again, that's so big. I mean, like, he just paid 5, and he can recover most of the way from this Ichi in the following turn, but being able to secure the again, get rid of those campaigns, keep HB on a more slow trickle instead of a heavy drip gain is so good. It
Absolutely.
makes such a big difference.
Yeah. It's a really interesting game here because we have so many like little incremental things going on that tilt like the econ balance one way or the other. Like I have his HP ability turned off, which is really big, but he has this Jeeves, which lets him get a free click if he clicks for 3 credits. But he has to just click for 3 credits, which is not super impressive because he's so poor. And I also have this Vigil running, which is drawing me a lot of free cards, unless he does things to play around it. And he's trying to play around it. I'm not getting free draws every turn. But he is poor enough that it's pretty hard for him to play out his cards.
But you're also, at the same time, you're also keeping him off balance enough where he can't... I think he's only utilized Jeeves the first turn that he rested. And since...
No, he just used it a second time.
Oh, he did just use it the second? Okay.
Yeah, and he should have used it the turn before. He just made the misplay of trying to install 2 cards, so he opted not to. But he should have clicked for 3 credits and then installed a card.
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. Oh, right, because that gives you... Okay, I see. Man, Jeeves is so good in HP.
Yeah.
It's so good. In ETF, I should say.
It's good in a lot of IDs, actually.
Yeah.
It's basically Helahan psychology.
Right.
If you ever played with that in HP, it was really strong because you spend 2 clicks to gain 3, and then you install a card and gain another one. So you install a card and gain 4 credits every turn.
I feel like you would have had to be playing a year and a half ago to see a lot of that, at least. At least a year and a half ago.
Pretty old school card.
Yeah. So, some thoughts here. You did just make an entrance again.
Yeah, I didn't quite see what all those cards were. Did you catch much of that?
I didn't. Not a clue. I just noticed it in the Discord there. But you have a lot of good stuff in your hand. I'll say a lot of access. You have some draw, some injects. So knowing you, you probably set up your making an entrance to be able to inject optimally, however you wanted that to swing.
Yeah. So my thinking here is how do I want to attack? And because of that agenda discard earlier, I know I want to focus on HQ. And I'm going to run HQ without siphoning because either he reses ice and keeps himself poor, or he lets me in relatively cheaply and I can get accesses where I think the agendas are. So his res of this Turing right here is a huge signal again that he's still flooded.
Yeah.
He's put himself down at 1 credit yet again. Turing on Centrals is pretty good against my deck because I play so many AI breakers, but now that he's resed it, he's made it vulnerable to Parasite.
And you can just get your sucker token. You can get a sucker token off of probably R&D or Archives at this point. I think you have a click left. You have 2 clicks left.
I have 2 clicks left, yeah.
So you could very easily get your sucker tokens and then just blow up the Turing next turn while getting some accesses. So that's a really risky play. As you said, it is a really big signal.
I mean, yeah, it's risky for him not to do it because I spend 1 David counter to get his HQ. But it might have been the right play because resing these Turings is really setting him back. Like it set him down to 1 credit and I got a free access on R&D again because he can't res any ice when he has 1 credit. I'm paying attention to whenever he has fewer than 4 credits and running R&D basically. So he just takes more money. I think he took 4 credits with Jeeves. And now I have the sucker tokens I need to blow up the Turing and try for HQ again. So I imagine that's what I'll try to do.
Do you ever think about letting him res the Architect and then blowing up the Jeeves so he's stuck at 1 credit with no way to recover? Or are you do not want that ice res? And here resing the Turing, I guess, has the same effect.
Res is a second Turing, yeah. Some deja vu here, right? The same. He got 4 credits on his turn and then he spent them all resing yet another Turing. So clearly flooded.
Yeah, and I feel like here, though, it makes... You take out the Jeeves.
Here, I think I will take out the Jeeves. Those Whizzard credits, I forgot to refresh from last turn, but they are full. Available, and I think I'll kill the Jeeves this turn. I was thinking about it the last turn and maybe the turn before that, but I really wanted to also get those free R&D accesses while I could. So I decided that was probably more important than denying him like 1 credit on the next turn.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with that. I think the R&D access is more important, and now you can just take care of it anyway. It's not going to set you...
Yeah. This is my click 1, so I still have 3 clicks left, and I can use them to run R&D, run Jeeves. Oh, I'm not doing that. But I could run R&D, run Jeeves, and also play Parasite on the Turing if I had it. But I don't think I have Parasite anymore, so I need to recur the Parasite to put on the Turing.
So injecting, gaining you a buck and some more cards, and the sure gamble here is nice for your economy. I'm sure that's something that's much needed, and even like sure gamble, run the Jeeves, kill the Jeeves, is a big economic advantage. I mean, like
absolutely. But again, I'm thinking I want to get this free R&D access while I can. It's such high value because I even get a sucker token that I really want. Yeah, so I decide to run R&D. I'm going to have to discard a card, I think, this turn, because I injected into a bunch, but even that is probably worth it. I'm probably going to play sure gamble here.
It's so hard. I mean,
no,
like...
I run and trash the Jeeves.
You do have the extra click. Okay. I thought you already discarded down. So never mind.
No.
I thought you.
So I had one more click. I was deciding whether I wanted to play a card, so I avoid discarding, or kill his Jeeves so he doesn't get that extra money on the next turn. And I decided I probably didn't need all 6 of those cards. I can discard I've Had Worse, which will be nice later, but it's not something I need right now. I have all the tools in my hand.
It's not anything compared to like the money or the extra breaker or this.
Or the second I've Had Worse.
Or the second I've Had Worse. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have enough draw for the moment, especially since Vigil is firing all cylinders now.
And that Deja Vu, do you have a siphon in your discard yet, or just the Planned Assault? I think it's still just the Planned Assault.
Yeah, it's pretty awkward actually. Sometimes when the Planned Assault is not ideal.
But for 2 less influence.
Yeah, I definitely need the extra influence, so compromises have to be made.
Yeah, but the Deja Vu does let you get some Parasites, some goodness to take out that Turing, set Isaac back some more. And again, that Employee Strike is just, I feel like it's really kind of locking in a stranglehold on HB right now. Because there isn't a good way for him to recover.
This game, I've taken out his HB ID, which is really important. I've trashed his Jeeves now, so he doesn't get that. And he doesn't have subliminal messaging going. So, and of course I'm trashing all his Adonises and whatever. So the drip that HB really wants is not working for him this game.
Yeah. And the Parasite comes out, that's surely going to go next turn, or at least you have the ability with the Data Sucker. So lots of pressure on HQ, and looks like Isaac, he has a Biotic Labor in his hand, so there's definitely options. I see an ABT as well, shipment from Sansan, Efficiency Committee. So some fast advanced things that are just hanging out, but he can't take advantage of just because of that money.
He just needs a little more money. Okay, and here, so now the Turing's at 1 strength, so I can kill it with the Data Sucker. He has 5 cards in hand, so I can break the IQ. Mm-hmm. Now is the perfect time for me to count Siphon, right? He has 7 credits. I can send him back to the Stone Age, play down Medium, hammer R&D. The problem is I don't have a count Siphon. I've never drawn it this game. And I discarded Plant Assault a long time ago.
Oh, you could say Molt Siphon here. It's not ideal, but... Or you can't freaking Siphon. You don't have a Siphon there.
I drew into Same Old Thing on my first click, so now I'm 1 click short of playing Same Old Thing and then Same Old Planned Assault for a count Siphon, which is the worst turn ever, and I can't do it. So I'm like, I just really need this account Siphon this turn. This is the perfect turn. I'm more than halfway through my deck, so it's pretty unlikely that I haven't drawn either of my account Siphons.
Yeah. But you're in a point, I mean, like, you do have the Knight, too, so you could really keep pressuring, but you're going for the other...
I just really want to account Siphon here, so I'm going to play yet another I've Had Worse, and I
all the cards, Timmy. You have all the cards here.
Yeah, it's painful. I have so many, like, Same Old Things and stuff, so many good cards, but I'm going to have to discard most of them. It's really unfortunate.
I'm interested to see what you prioritize in your hand here.
Medium is really important, and I'm going to get a medium access on R&D with my last click. It makes here I'm not afraid of Architect because I'll ditch 3 cards to break it. Yeah, so he decides not to res, obviously.
No, that's interesting. I would imagine that.
No, because I have so many cards in hand, I'll just break whatever he reses, right? This way he doesn't reveal the information, he keeps the money, and I still have to discard.
You probably, I feel like you, especially early game when that would have gotten installed, it's not really a mystery that it's an Architect, and having something resed in front of R&D is really, really good.
That's quite true, yeah.
Especially with a medium.
If he wants to play around future account siphon, he might want to just res this Architect now. And I've been avoiding letting him res that Architect because I can't trash it because Architect says so. So yeah, you're right that maybe he should have just res the Architect there to get it res. It's a pretty high level play. I'm not totally sure if it would be correct because having money does let him like make plays, score this agenda, which makes sense because time is running short yet again. He wants to get points on the board, and now we're tied.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense. And letting the ABT fire this time around, getting the okay.
This game he's in a more desperate position than last game, so firing the ABT makes sense to try to just get something going. He gets a res dice on R&D, which is great.
But it makes sense as to why he didn't fire that Architect if he was going to follow up with the Biotic ABT.
Absolutely.
And the Turing finally goes away, just gets eaten away by the Parasite slowly and sadly.
Yeah. That play also makes sense because if he couldn't guard HQ, then I was about to get in and probably steal his agendas. So his ABT did hit an NAPD that went into the yard. He hit an Eli and 2 face stand cards. So from my perspective, there's a good chance that he trashed an agenda there, and I want to check archives.
Are you showing? Oh, you are making an entrance. I want to say showing off because the art is. She looks like she's showing off, but not the point here.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to set up my last few turns with making an entrance, and it's so hard.
See, it's Oh, he has 2 credits. Okay. See, I'm wondering if you don't have the making an entrance, do you run R&D, click through Eli, see 2 cards, and then run archives?
Maybe.
I mean, I don't. That doesn't seem bad to me.
No. At this point in the game, I think getting 2 R&D accesses is quite good. But I did have the making an entrance, so I felt like it was good to just set up the next few turns rather than make that play.
Yeah. Especially with the knifed. I had forgotten you have the knife play.
Yeah. So my plan was make an entrance, set it up, and then knife the Eli. And I can wait to check archives. It's pretty unlikely that he's been holding a Jackson this whole time.
Especially if you're getting the flood read.
Yeah, and I hit a CVS here, which sucks, always. But since he has no ice res on R&D, it's just a minor setback.
Yeah.
I can probably deal with whatever he reses on R&D now. And because time is so short, he decides that none of his other ice is going to cut it. I guess Architect doesn't really stop me. I can ignore it if I really want to go ham on medium.
True. Eventually, you're probably going to be able to get something off of the medium through an Architect.
Yeah, so he just trashes everything. So I'm going to check archives now, check that ABT misfire, check what else has been going on.
Timmy, you're running without 4 credits again.
Well, I have 0 credits. I would have to click for 4 credits and then run, so that's not really a great option. And here's another Architect. Oh my god. So many Architects.
So many Architects. But you can't let it fire here. Like, this is the good news is that he has 1 credit and an open R&D, and you have a medium. So as long as you can break all these subs, I would say as long as you can break these subs, I think you're in a really, really good spot.
I agree.
And that's what you do.
Yeah, it hurts to spend all my 3 cards to do this, but because my sucker token just got purged by Cyberdex.
Oh, there's an NAPD in there.
There's the NAPD he hit with ABT, and I'm way far from scoring that, unfortunately. So now I have a choice of whether I want to try to credit up and draw up in order to get into archives and steal that NAPD, or if I just want to go for R&D, which is free. So that's going to be my plan.
Oh, it looks like you're drawn here, but you don't. These cards on top of R&D right now are new. So
Yeah, I do want to run R&D at least once.
Yeah.
It's possible that I should have just run R&D first. That was probably a better play. It's just my instinct not to run with an empty hand, right?
Right.
Like, in case he plays shock for some reason, I would just lose. So I decided to draw one card and then run twice. I think that was a pretty reasonable line to take.
That's probably the best play. I mean, you are still up technically, not really, but technically.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not as critical for you to try and nail R&D as hard.
I think time just got called on Isaac's turn, or maybe it's about to get called, something like that. So this is going to be my last turn. Okay, I think time actually gets called like right now. And so this will be my last turn, and then Isaac will get one turn, but he isn't in a position to score anything.
Yeah.
So I'm going to win this game based on a tie again, which is really unfortunate. I hate like beating Isaac in that way twice. So I'm going to try my best to get as many agendas as I can to at least make the game more decisive.
Yeah, and the Turing on R&D is going to make it a little bit more difficult for you.
Absolutely.
You don't really have a good way to get
Normally,
through it.
I would just bounce and parasite the Turing since it's the
You
last
just
turn.
click through it?
Since the last turn, I might as well click through it. And there are 2 agendas in the top 3
Oh,
cards.
wow.
So yeah, it turned out to be a very unlikely full win. In a normal game, I would not have clicked through the Turing, very likely. Yeah, that's a pretty cool game, I think.
Yeah, both of the games, I think you did such a great job of controlling Isaac's economy and tempo that it was hard for him to recover.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it really showcases the strength of Whizzard as an identity. Econ denial, I think, is one of his core strengths.
And that's all the time that we have. Thanks very much for watching. Catch you next time.
Till next time.